You are welcome to another episode of LFN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly. Also known as the R&B King. The making of the surviving R. Kelly documentary, a Lifetime television production which is characterized by scenes featuring numerous women, all playing a part in Sony's agenda to assassinate the R&B King, marked the beginning of R. Kelly's current legal ordeals. Various mature women largely in their 40s were paraded before the camera, and it looks like none had anything good to say about Robert, causing many who were keen enough to look beneath their stories to classify this documentary as the terrible mudslinging defamation campaign it certainly was. While some claimed they started out with R. Kelly at 17, others like Faith Rogers were not shy to mention that they were of age when the alleged events happened. Faith Rogers, for example, was not embarrassed to say, "I was 19 to 20 at that time," and then describing her relationship with R. Kelly as abusive, which does not tally well with what later on appeared in the trial transcript. And then some of the women, such as Lisa Van Allen, chose to carry on with their lives from back in the 90s, insisting she had been 17 when she met R. Kelly, yet she was actually an adult of sound mind. The appearance which left the viewers shocked and disappointed was that of R. Kelly's ex-wife Andrea Kelly, who doubles as the mother to his 3 children. Her presence on this infamous TV series was a blow to R. Kelly and her own children, who may never forgive her for helping their father down the ditch at a time when he needed his family's support the most. Andrea Kelly mentioned that she had been with R. Kelly for 13 years between 1996 and 2009 before they eventually divorced, and she described these years as full of abuse, claiming she was worried R. Kelly would kill her. While all these accusations she made on the show appeared far-fetched, considering she could not back up any of these with any sort of evidence, the most disheartening part was when she attempted to use her 3 children as the excuse for her coming out to tell her story that lacked truth in it. Andrea Kelly did state that it was her children who were pushing her to tell her story in order to help other women who their allegedly monster father could hurt next.
Sorry, I don't need to get emotional. They're my biggest supporters. They're the ones who tell me, "Mom, you gotta get out of bed today." They're the ones who tell me, "Mom, tell your story because you're gonna save somebody's life."
However, this contradicts what we saw and what we actually heard one of her daughters say when the two were co-hosted at a Good Morning Britain TV show. All we have seen is Andrea Kelly attempt to get R. Kelly's children to hate their father so much, something she failed at miserably. During the Good Morning Britain show, R. Kelly's daughter, who doubles as Buku Abby, an upcoming singer with original name Joanne Kelly, was heard speak her mind and say she was not going to be whisked into declaring hatred for her father. It was clear after this show and from her subsequent comments about the case that she was being pushed into the hate R. Kelly propaganda, which she certainly didn't want to be a part of. It is therefore so sad for her mother to use her and her siblings as the excuse for choosing not to stand with the father of her children, or at least to remain mute about the situation, then take to social media and to Lifetime to become part of the talent that acted the surviving R. Kelly documentary. How could she even think of using her innocent children as an excuse for her indescribable behavior? This shows how mean a woman she is to use children as an excuse for her inconsiderate and unthoughtful behavior. First, these women blame R. Kelly, claiming he was older and made the decisions, pushing them into doing what they didn't want to do. How can the very same people now blame their current actions on innocent children? Could it be that R. Kelly's children are now her new threat of control? We hope they are not running a cult themselves back at home and locking their mother in the basement against her will. She was wrong to use them as an excuse and deciding factor, and she ought to refrain from this in the future. We have seen Andrea Kelly remain a thorn in R. Kelly's shoes even when she is not willing to drop his first name. She insists on being called Kelly irrespective of the things she claims the name represents. This is only possible when someone is playing double standards, and because she knows exactly what she is doing, she wouldn't drop a name she knows represents success and excellence as opposed to her claims of abuse. It is also suspected that Andrea Kelly only chose to join the government camp against R. Kelly to protect herself from taking a share of the blame, just in case the world imagined she was a part of the alleged illegal acts. Instead of spending money on an attorney to provide her with the necessary counsel to defend her baby daddy, she preferred the cheaper way out, and that was joining the accusers and pretending to care about them. It's no surprise some of them later claimed they were actually having triple plays with Andrea inclusive. Claims that show you how the government managed to blackmail some of these women and get them talking against R. Kelly. Many of these accusers knew well they were criminals themselves, and in exchange for immunities, they decided to cooperate with the government. According to Mona Lisa, what I found most shocking about Andrea Kelly's claims during the Surviving R. Kelly documentary is her accusations and claims R. Kelly abused her for 8 years, yet with no evidence whatsoever to back it up. R. Kelly, like every other normal human being, has a right to get angry, but it doesn't necessarily mean he was an abuser like his ex-wife said. After all, these women have completely nothing to show for this alleged abuse. None of them displayed any scars on her body suggesting they were inflicted by R. Kelly. How can an abuser be with 20 women and none has physical evidence to show for it? The story describing a fight at the back of a Hummer by Andrea Kelly just doesn't add up. Couples do wrestle around from time to time and it's normal. But trying to make it appear like R. Kelly had the potential to kill someone just because he was angry with what these women were doing is just delusional. As if lying on Robert was not enough, getting their children into the mix suggesting it's them that were pushing her to the media to speak the worst of their father is going way beyond the limits. As an adult, when you decide to take a certain position, you own up. You don't go blaming it all on others and using them as shields from possible public backlash, most especially your children. We have watched a video on WETV where she was literally teaching her kids how to hate their father, and surely after that, she has no moral authority to say it's the same kids that asked her to tell lies on their father. This should not be acceptable. According to Andrea Fox, Andrea Kelly did all this for money and fame, and of course she lied on all interviews, which is so bad for her reputation. She also made sure to keep the kids with her like a pawn to use whenever she wanted money. By the look of things, it's probably correct to say Andrea was no good for R. Kelly at all. She is no victim but just an imposter. She is only sad she was divorced. Free the R and be king. It's still difficult to understand why she would so much want to keep his name, yet she calls him a predator. Clearly she was in his life for the fame and opportunities it came with. Never for love. If you wish to take part in a live interview discussing any of these topics, let us know by sending an email to sashalfnmedia@gmail.com for scheduling. Thank you for watching today's video, a production of LFN Media, giving you another perspective of issues at hand. We make it our business to keep you updated with the truth amidst the cloud of lies the media wants you to believe. It is therefore important to subscribe to this channel, hit the bell icon and allow all notifications so that you don't miss out whenever we publish a new video.